Hey guys, so in today's video I would like to show a speed paint that I did of a draw this in your style, while also giving you some pretty general art tips on how to grow a following as well as how to grow in terms of skill at the same time, because you don't want to just grow in one necessarily. I think it's really high value if you can do both at the same time. So my first tip would be to draw as much as you can without burning yourself out. I found myself learning the most and liking my art the best when I would wake up early enough to draw. I think finding that time in your day is really important, whether it be at night or in the morning, or midday if that's what fits into your schedule. So I would limit myself to about 2 hours every day, and I would make sure to record the whole process, and then I would post that piece on Instagram as well as make a cute reel of it with some kind of trending audio. By doing this, I found a steady flow of learning mixed in with social media engagement and gaining followers. I think the trick to this is not being a perfectionist and stopping yourself, at those 2 hours, seeing the mistakes, being okay with it for the time being, posting that art, get your reel out there, and then the next day when you draw, remember those mistakes and do a new piece and try to fix it. For example, a lot of times I'll draw something and I'll find a mistake the next day, but I didn't know that mistake was there the first day. Usually it's probably like the eyes. Like one of the eyes will be like super low, and I had no idea it was super low until I looked at it the next day with fresh eyes. So even though the eye was messed up in the first piece that I did, the second day when I draw something completely different, I will remember that mistake and remind myself, when you're drawing the eyes, make sure not to draw the eye too low. And that is what I call fixing your mistakes and growing and learning as an artist. And it's a beautiful thing, it really is. I think it's really important to be okay with the mistakes that you are making and reassuring yourself that the next piece you do, you're going to try to fix that mistake. And I think that's where growth comes from. And it's even better when you can do it while posting and getting a following that can also join your journey and watch you grow. The one thing that is really big on this tip though is consistency. You have to be able to hold yourself to practicing every day or every other day, and then after you're done drawing, you have to give yourself a little time to make it post worthy, cropping it or recording a quick reel of it, and typing the proper hashtags and things like that. It's a little bit time consuming, but if you can do it quick and do it well and do it right and do it consistently, I think things get a lot. You start seeing growth. The growth will be there. And yeah. My second tip would be, if you have any favorite artists, to watch their videos and speed paints and see how they do their process, and then try to incorporate that into your own process. And I don't really mean like watching how they render details or really paint the skin. I'm talking about the fundamentals, like excuse me. I mean like seeing how they draw the guidelines on the face, or seeing how they sketch, seeing the colors that they're picking, their base colors. Is it really saturated? Is it not saturated? Is the shadow color twice as dark? Does the hue change, or is it just the value that changes? And a lot of times I do this by watching my favorite artists post their video or tutorial or speed paint and slowing it down, or just pausing it at points where I'm like, wow, that was really, like, that color is so pretty, like, what color is it? And then I'll look up to the corner of their video and see their color picker, And focusing on the colors they're using is, I think, something that has helped me really come to love my color choices and my paintings a little bit more than I used to love them. Because if the professionals are doing it, then, you know, I feel like you can really trust it and start to make it your own. Don't be afraid to watch a video and pause it and try to figure out what exactly they're doing and seeing if you can do it too. And a real life example of this is when I could not for the life of me figure out how to properly draw a 3/4 eye, such as the one in the video that's like turned away. I could never get it right until I saw a video of Sam Does Arts, and he was sketching a 3/4 eye onto his character, and it suddenly just clicked for me. Like, I understood how it rounded and he'll like voice over too, which can help as well. But if you really are focusing on what the person is doing, you'll notice these things and be like, whoa, that's how you do that? That's, you know. And so be observant and watch your favorite artists and try to implement the way they treat their fundamentals into like your own art. My third tip would be that numbers don't define your art. I have seen some amazing underrated artists with a really low amount of following. And I've also seen artists whose work doesn't really fit my liking of art. Not that it means it's bad in any way whatsoever, but art that I'm just like not really interested in, and there's millions of people that are interested in it, for example. So don't ever feel like, you know, no one's gonna like your art, because I mean, look at Picasso. Like, there's people out there that love Picasso and then there's people out there that are like, interesting. Weird shapes and floating eyes and melting clocks. And he did that, right? The melting clock? I don't know. But just know that numbers don't define your art, because there's amazing artists that just can't defeat the algorithm. Like, you have to use proper hashtags, you have to engage your audience and things like that. And if you can't figure out how to do that, when you post art, it's gonna kind of fall onto blind eyes. The algorithm isn't gonna treat it right, you know what I mean? Tip number 4 is post your messy art as well, and your work in progresses. My most popular reels that have hit like, you know, 100k views and stuff like that are my sketches, my rough sketches. And usually I'll show a before and after where it's the messy rough sketch, and then to the beat of the song, you know, it'll show the finished piece. There is a really beautiful aesthetic that comes from messy art or sketchy art, and don't underestimate that, because people love seeing it. And it's something, I think it's pretty low effort for people to post on reels and stuff like that, just a quick sketch, and it can be what draws in 10 followers that day. And if the reel pops off, that could be 100 followers just from a sketch. And if they like your sketch, they're probably gonna like your art. Use everything you can. Like, everything is content, like, for sure. Tip number 5 is, when trying to find your style, I think it's important to realize that our styles consist of a ton of elements that we all love. If that made any sense. For example, if you love to draw realism, but you also really like big cartoony eyes, you can merge those together. And say you also like the way Sam Does Arts, how he colors, you love those vibrant colors, put that in there as well. By taking these bits and pieces from other artists, you are creating your own kind of Frankenstein type of style. And eventually, over the months and years, it's going to come into something that is brand new. And it's important to know that it's not stealing or copying to do something like that. I mean, there are people out there that completely recreate a style because they love it and they love to draw in that style. Like, tons of people that draw just like Sam Does Arts, for example. It's totally okay. But if you want to create your own style, it's also completely okay to take things that you like from an artist and try it in your own art. So all in all, it's okay to practice and study and take bits and pieces that you like from an art and try to recreate it into your own. It's all about learning and finding what you love to draw. And then my last tip is more for social media, but it's that my most popular posts on Instagram are typically hashtag draw this in your styles, such as the Speedpaint that's going right now. And I think it's really important to kind of merge yourself into communities and be known, and hashtag DTIYS is a beautiful way of doing that. Typically, an artist will host a little contest or event, and they'll just say draw this in your style, and you can do that. And then by posting that in their hashtag that they give you, you will be among the dozens of pieces or even hundreds that people have also put into that event. People that enter these events, they want to see what other people have done, and they want other people to see their work. So they'll look through the hashtag and like others and comment on others, and in the process, it's like you're getting a lot more eyes on your artwork than if you were to just post a random, character drawing. And typically artists that will host these events, some of them can have over 100k followers. And typically they share the pieces on their story as well, which is even more views on your art, and then people will click to your Instagram. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that that's something I do, and I noticed that it's always my most liked posts, and I get followers from them. And say your style is really cute, really unique, something they haven't seen before, it's gonna catch people's eyes when they're looking through that hashtag. And this is a great way to get new eyes on you and to get followers that are like, oh, she drew my favorite artist's character and I love the way she drew it. I want to see more from her. So that about does it. Those are some pretty general tips, but tips nonetheless that have helped me grow as an artist, as well as growing on Instagram simultaneously. And it's not like I have a crazy amount of following. Right now I have about 2,900 on Instagram over the course of a good couple of months. 4 or 5 months? I don't know. It's rough. It is rough. It is hard to grow. But I really truly believe that consistency will treat you well. And yeah, so that's about it. Bye.